All right, today we are going to be going through sales and delegation, right? Sales and delegation, which is a great two things that if you learn how to do them, there is no limit to building your business at all. So I'm excited to call forward my friend, Viktor St-Jacques. Why don't you give it up for him?
How are you doing, guys? So today we're going to talk about sales. So there's different types of sales. There's obviously what we call remote closing, which is mostly what I do. So you sell online from a computer. You also have direct sales. So you could do door-to-door, so knock on doors people and try to sell pest control or whatever you want to sell. So today we're going to talk about the basic of sell and closing. I know last week with Lucas, we touched a bit the subject about handling an objection and things like that. So what I believe personally is that if you do sales properly, you shouldn't deal with objection in the end of the call or whatever the meeting you do. So the thing is, a lot of the times people are like, and you see these videos on Instagram that are popping up where it's like, how do I handle when the guy says, I need to talk to my wife? How do I handle it when he says, I need more time to think about it? How do I handle it when he says, I don't have the money right now, like let me sleep on it? So the model of sell that I use, and it's not a tactic, it's literally just having a conversation. And what I believe is that if you ask the proper question, you won't have to deal with these objections. Because a lot of the times people are like, oh, I'm at the end of the meeting, he has all these things, and I almost need to wrestle with my prospect or my lead to be able to close the deal. But you've already missed the target. Because the reality of it is like in the first like 10 to 15 minutes of the call, you could have seen all the things that could be a problem and that would be an objection at the end. So usually people are like, okay, how do I handle these objections at the end? But it's the wrong way to go about it. You should just like handle them with the right question in the beginning. So what I do actually in my business, the only thing I do is sell. So I have an amazing partner that's taking care of all the fulfillment side. So I'm not involved into any client's account. I don't speak with the clients directly. I only manage the sales. So I have a sales team. I have some closer that I manage, and I do some sales myself too. So the thing I see a lot of the times is that people try to pressure you to buy into something. And in 2026, it's not working as well as it used to be. Like those videos on Instagram were hype, where it's like, how would you feel like, let's say I'm trying to sell you a fitness program, and it's like, how do you feel like your mom would look at you, and would she be proud if you didn't buy the thing? Because you wouldn't change your life for the physique you look. And that's what people get into. They get into those weird tactics, and they try to pressure sell you and make you feel weird with emotions. So that's not what we do. And then you have two different types of clientele you could sell to, which is B2B, what I sell, which we sell marketing services to businesses. And then you have B2C, which is business to consumer. So the sell is always going to be the same thing. So with the model that I'm going to teach you today and that I use for my own business, that we close millions of dollars every year with this, you won't need a script. Like you'll literally be able to sell any product, anywhere, anytime, any service to anyone. Because the thing is like, we're not learning a script or learning how to sell a specific product. We're learning the psychology behind how you could sell and how people make decisions. So the first thing that's very important when it comes to sell is you gotta listen, which is hard for people because usually like you think that, oh, being a salesman is someone that talks a lot. You gotta literally listen like 85% of the time, and you gotta talk about 15% of the time. And that's where people like do it very wrong, where they're gonna cut off the prospect, they're gonna try to put words in their mouth that they didn't say, they're gonna like just try to convince people. So there's two kinds of model we use. There's like, you try to just pressure people into believing something, or you ask the right question, and then with the question you ask, you make people realize by themselves what they need or that you're the solution. So the main problem that I see people doing is they talk too much and they don't actually listen. So that's the thing. So usually people do it like this. They do the opposite. So they talk 85% of the time and they listen 15% of the time. And even when they listen, they're not actually listening. They're like, okay, I'm having a conversation with Gabriel. I'm going to ask him a question like, how much money do you make a year? But I'm not actually like listening to what he's gonna say. I'm just gonna think of the next thing I'm gonna say. And that's where there's a problem with this when you sell with a script, is that, like Lucas said, I believe in framework more than script. So like if you're learning, if you're getting into the thing, it's like, you could have a framework where like, okay, I like to separate my calls in 3 ways. So personally, I sell B2B, and we sell product between like 10 grand to like 100 grand. So it's not something like you're gonna buy right away. Like it's normal. Like it's not an objection if at the end they say I need time to think about it. It's actually like real. We're talking about like a 6-figure investment. So how I like to do it is I'm gonna always sell in 2 calls. And then that's going to be different on what you sell. On B2C, I don't think you necessarily need to sell on 2 calls. But personally, what I do is on the first call, I'm always saying, I'm literally starting the call with, today, I'm here to learn about your business. I want to know what's your process for your client acquisition. So you could keep your credit card at home. I won't try to sell you anything. I won't try to make you sign a contract. In fact, if you try to pay me today, I'm actually going to like deny it and I'm going to refuse it because I actually want you to take the time to think about it. I want you to, so what I do usually is on the first call, that's the first thing I say. I say usually I'm going to work on 2 calls. So today I'm not trying to sell you anything. We're going to talk about your client acquisition. We're going to talk about what we do with Partenaire.io, our strategies. I'm going to be able to give you a price. Like I won't like wait till, like you see these clips online sometimes where it's like, oh, I'm gonna price drop at like 5 minutes before the end, and then it's like, okay, I'm price dropping, and it's a run. It's like we're chasing him, or like we're trying to wrestle him and tackle him down. Where it's like that's not how you sell. Not in 2026, especially not with advanced business owners like we do. We sell to businesses usually that makes like anywhere between 500K to like 5 to 10 million a year. To give you an example, I was on a call today with a company called Palette Ideal, which is the biggest, how would you say palette in English? Okay, so they're the biggest one in Quebec. Like they sell like contracts for millions of dollars. The guy told me they're making 65 million a year in sales. And they've been in business for 37 years. When I went on the call today, it was very challenging. Like they obviously knew what they were talking about and what they were looking for. I had the owner, I had the VP of like communication, and then I had like the VP of sales. So these people are like very advanced. So if I'm trying to say like, how is your mom gonna feel if you don't take that decision? She's gonna, like obviously like they'll just quit the call. So that's the thing. So usually that model doesn't really work anymore, but it works in the coaching industry where you're trying to sell a making money online product, but it doesn't work in the B2B. So how I like to do it usually is this. I'm gonna validate what's their client acquisition process right now. I'm gonna then talk about what we do at Partenaire.io, what's our strategies, our marketing strategy. And then in the end, I'll give him a range of the price. Because the thing is like, even if we have the biggest fit ever and like we love each other in terms of like the personality, the fit to work as a collaboration professionally, it's like if you enter a Porsche dealership with a $20,000 budget, like it won't work out. You could love the Porsche as much as you want. You won't be able to get out with 20,000. That's not how much it costs. So what I'm gonna do usually is I'm gonna price drop. I'm gonna say, listen, I don't know exactly what you need right now, but our services are anywhere between 10 to 100,000. So if you're not willing to invest 10 grand, like we could end the call right here. I'll still answer your question and try to provide you as much value as possible because you took the time. But there's nothing I'm gonna be able to sell you. So you don't wanna hide the price because the thing is like, you don't want to do this. Like you actually want to have a normal conversation like humans. A sentence that someone told me once was like, if the way you're selling right now, like you wouldn't want your mom to buy from someone that sells like this, then your model of all you sell is wrong and change your model. So that's something. I used to sell with like before I was Christian, I was selling marketing services but for another company, and I was using all kind of tactics to like be able to close them and like convince them, and it's like I've done it all. Like I've done someone is trying to like exit the call and they're saying like I don't have the finances right now. I was literally able to convince them to like show me their bank account. And then if they said that like they had $800, I was like, okay, that's amazing. 800 is perfect. The program is 5K. You're gonna each transfer me the 800, and then that's gonna be a deposit for the thing. And I was making those people give me the money because I was in a position of authority. So it's like you're able to do it, but then it's like you feel bad at night knowing that like The guy has $800 left in his bank account. He's like scared of, am I gonna be able to pay rent? I have a family, I have kids. How am I gonna pay the groceries? But at that time, I had like kind of like, I didn't care about anyone. I was just very selfish and I thought of my own money in my own pocket. So I did it. Like I did these things. Then I did a bunch of things. Like if you've been in sales for a long time, like you've heard it all, you've seen it all. Like the things that you hear, like make them cry, they're gonna buy. Like that's another thing that was like very big. Or it's like I used to own a company that was called monteurvideo.ca where we taught people how to learn editing and make a living from it. And I still remember because it's like at that time I didn't, even though I was a Christian, I didn't know it was like not super ethical. And I would, like, there's some people that would cry on the call because it's like, you're like, whatever, you're 25 years old, you don't do, like you're working at a job that you don't like right now, you have some money aside, but like you're trying to get rid of it. It's like, it's very easy to like press on the pain points they have to make them cry. Then when they cry, you slip the contract and it's like, they're emotional. So it's like, you have two things, okay? You have the emotional side. I'm gonna write it here like this, and then you have the, I don't know if you say it like this in English, but rationnel. This is when like you're logical and you take the decisions. So the thing is that if you make someone cry, they're not going to be able to see the fact and like actually take the time and does it make sense? Does the math make sense? So it's very easy. Like I'm telling you, if you're able to make people cry, they're going to buy very easily, but then it's like you're going to get a lot of refunds. They're going to ask for they're going to cause all kinds of trouble. And then it's like, especially if you sell to them on a payment plan, like let's say it's $5K for 5 months and they pay you $1,000 a month, you'll probably won't ever get the $4K back. So you have a lot of churn with that. So that's not very nice. So what I like to do now, like I said, is I'm going to set a price at the end of the first call. How do you feel about it? But just, even if you sell in a way that's ethical, like people are still going to like, we call it white lies or like smoke screen. People are still, because it's uncomfortable, so they don't want to like actually say the truth the first time. So usually you're gonna have to ask the same question like 2 to 3 times before you get your actual answer. So like, let's say, okay, my to work with Partenaire Poyo for 4 months is 10 grand. And then usually what I'm gonna say, how do you feel about it? Is it like a big no where like we're exiting the call right now? Or is it like, no, it could make sense if the strategy is right. Usually people are gonna say, no, it makes sense. But if they just say it like this and they don't seem sure, usually they're just trying to like please you. And I don't know, how many of you guys have ever sold something, or maybe you have a business or you're in sales right now? Okay, nice. Nice, so has it ever happened to you where someone said like, it's awesome, I'm gonna buy, and then you left the call, and then it was like crickets. They never got back to you. And that's what's called a smoke screen. It's like people, they see you in a position of authority, so they're kind of scared of telling you the truth. So it's easier for them to say, yes, it makes sense. Yes, I love the product. Yes, I'm going to buy it. And then what they do is like they end the call and you'll never hear back from them. They ghost you. So the thing with that is because you didn't get the truth. So what I like to do and what I focus on is like, I don't care if I'm going to get the sell or not. I'm just focusing on getting the truth on the call. And the thing that I do now is, honestly, I don't sell something to someone that doesn't need it. Like today, I was on a call with a jeweler, and it's like the guy is starting out. Like he has he just started his shop. Like he barely has like, I think like 10 diamond rings in the inventory. And like, he's like, I have like about 50K left in liquidity. Like, should I invest it into like more stocks and inventory or like in marketing? And if I wasn't honest, like I could have said, yeah, investing in marketing is gonna be great. Like, give me your money, whatever. But then the thing is, like, it's not actually true, because then it's like he probably has like not even like 30 grand of product to sell right now. So it's like he won't ever be able to make the money back because I'm selling him something for 48,000. So I was like, no, listen, like this is what I would do. So I took the time, I shared my screen, look at his Instagram. I kind of did an audit, a breakdown of like what I felt was wrong and why he was not getting the views that he's supposed to do. And then I was like, okay, open yourself, Google my business account, go ask all of your past clients for reviews so that people would actually trust you and that you're someone that has a good business. And I was like, just do that. Like, don't give your money to an agency. And like, if anyone in their room like is ever on a call with a marketing agency, I'm gonna tell you and warn you because it's my industry. It's like it's a world of sharks out there. It's like swimming in your pool, like in your backyard, but with like 20,000 sharks in the same pool. It's like people are willing to tell you anything to get a grab of your money. And yeah, so like very like be careful. Like the best practice I can give you with this is like if you're on a call with a marketing agency, ask for a client's testimonial, ask to speak to them, because then it's like they could say anything, right? And you could never like fact check it. It's like, oh, I have this client that he did $1 million in sales. It's like, okay, you took a screenshot. Anyone with AI knowledge is capable of doing anything. So what I would advise you to do is just ask them for like 2 or 3 referrals that you could call and then speak directly to them. But like try to go on their website and pick and choose 3 randomly, because usually the one that they're gonna tell you is because they have like a commission split plan where it's like let's say Pastor Neb is a client of mine and I'm like, okay, every time you bring me a client, I'm gonna give you $1,000. So it's like I'm gonna say, oh yeah, call Pastor Neb, he's a client, he's happy. So usually like try to find your own, like on their portfolios, find like 3 random clients and just call them. Ask for the number. Usually if they're not willing to do it, then you know why it's the case. So that's what I always advise all of our leads or people that hop on calls with us. So that's the thing. So to start again, so I finished my first call, I validated the price, but I don't just ask like, oh, is it okay with you? Does it make sense? Because then usually what's gonna happen is they're always gonna say yes. Like it's very rare that someone's gonna say, oh no, it doesn't make. They're always gonna say yes the first time, but then it's like, are you sure? Because like it could be a good price. Like you could think that it's $10,000 value for, but like, are you willing to spend that money? Like, are you in a place right now where you feel like it's a priority? And then it might say like, you know what? Yeah, I think it's worth $10,000, but I don't think I'm ready yet to do that. Bam, you ask the question a second time, and now you got the truth. And usually what I like to do is I re-ask the same question, a different framework, a third time, just to make sure that I have it. So that's usually what I do. So when I start calls, I usually do 30 minutes for like my discovery calls, which are like the first call, and then I do 45 for the second call. So like, I'm gonna take like, name me like the top 3 objection like you've ever heard. If anyone wants to just say it.
I don't have the money.
The spouse?
I don't have the money. The
Okay,
spouse.
okay, good. We have this.
I'll check with my partners.
That's good. So we have about, I think, 5 now. Okay, so the first one is the partner. The second one is I don't have the money, so money.
Location count?
What do you mean?
Let's say your business is in Guatemala and the person lives in Guatemala.
And what type of business you do?
Training people.
Yeah, so I feel like that I would like validate more like when you get the lead or before you even up on the call, like where are you? So if you need to be somewhere, if you're running ads, you could either ask for the zip code in the thing, but that's an information that usually you validate before or when you start the call. But yeah, that's a good one too. So the third one is like think about it. Did I miss any?
I'm not sure if it works.
Yeah, that's good. I'll put them together. So will it work / guarantee and discount. So that's good. And then there's four types of color of personality in sales. There's yellow, green, red, and blue. We're gonna focus on like blue and red today, just because like the other ones are. Like personally, I see them like less often, but so you have red, which like I'm a red type of personality, and then you have the blue. So blue is someone that's very like they need to like check everything, like they need to check the stats, they want to do the math. It's like you'll never be able to convince someone that's in a blue state in terms of like their personality or who they are. You'll never convince them with your word. Like they want to actually sit down, they want to like check it, they want to sleep on it. And then a red, usually, and this is like what I am, and what's gonna happen with them is that it's funny. I have a very like easy time closing them, but usually people are kind of like afraid because it's like they're gonna try to take the control of the call. Like it happened to me today. I was actually like calling a lead, and the guy had just opted in. So like Lucas said, like if you could call your lead under 5 minutes, like the chance of you closing them up by 400%. So it's pretty efficient. So I called him. I was coming back from the gym. I saw a new lead. I call him, and then the guy, as soon as I call him, is like, he was like already like super defensive. Like, what do you want? Oh, you're one of these other marketing agency. You sell leads. How much does it cost? Because I just want to tell you, like, all my friends have been using marketing agency. It never works. And I'm like, bro, chill out, buddy. Like, you fill out the form for me to call you. So usually the joke I like to make with them when like they're very insistent with like knowing the price and like it's $1 million. And then they start to, what do you mean it's $1 million? You asked me for a price. I said it's $1 million. Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. How could you know it doesn't make sense? We haven't like even spoke. And then usually what I do is like I ask them question, like if someone came up to you for an HVAC system and asked you what's the price, you would probably ask them what, where do you live, what BTU do you need, and things like that. So it's the same thing with me. And then like, so usually these people, they're gonna like try to like make it seem as like they're these like top dogs and like they're so, and like they're gonna try to take the control. So like they're gonna show up on the call, they're gonna say, I only have 15 minutes. Oh, and they're gonna try to dictate. So it's very important that like you break them in the beginning, because then you're gonna lose the whole thing, and then they're gonna dictate you, and the rest of the framework and all the call works. So usually what I like to do with them is very simple. It's like you're either going to throw them off. So like you're either going to throw a joke that's so weird, like the $1 million thing, or you're going to just do something to kind of almost like poke them so that they step back and they're like, okay, like, so that's personally what I like to do. It's like you find a respectful way to like tell them like, chill out, man. Like, and so usually what I do also is like, I don't feel like you're into this call, man, right now. Like, so like someone could show up on the call and say, okay, like be fast. I have 15 minutes. Like I have 12 other agencies after that I'm talking to. Usually what I say is like, okay, like I don't want to waste your time. If you want, we could close the call right now. If you have 12 other agencies, like one more, one less, it won't change anything. And usually people are like, why? Why would you do that? You're going to lose the sale. And it's like, because people like look like typical closer. And that's what people don't like. Like in French, on les appelle les vendeurs de char. And like, people don't like them. It's like, you know, you're going to go there and they're going to try to close you as much as they can. So that's what I like to do usually. Why? Because I'm detached from the sale. And like, if you need a commission, it's going to, like, people are going to be able to tell, and you won't be able to get the results that you want. So that's usually what I do. And when I do that, they're kind of like almost offended, where it's like, oh, no one ever says that. Like, you should treat your... But it's like, okay, but like if you think I'm 1 out of 12 and like I don't want to waste your time, like just we're gonna quit this call. Usually when I do that, same thing, it throws them off a bit, and then they calm down and we're able to have a proper discussion. So all these objections, the thing is like if you ask the right question in the beginning of your call, like you wouldn't deal with any of these objections. So like same thing, today I had a call we specialize with mortgage broker, and I had a call with a guy. And we start the call, and the first thing he tells me, which is a new information, because when I call him to like set the call, it was just like, yeah, I started, my dad has been in the business for 25 years, whatever, but I want to do my own things. I'm like, okay. And then he's like, oh, I actually thought about it, and I spoke with my dad, and we would like to do it together. But the dad is not on the call right now. So what I did is like, okay, does your dad know that you're on the call today? But then the thing is like, you also got to manage your expectation. The data is not there. There's no way I'm going to be able to close them. But if you don't ask the question and you don't have the information, like you're going to try to like fight him at the end. You're going to try to wrestle with his objections, which are very like valid. So the thing is like, you're just going to be mad, and you're probably going to lose the deal because you're too pushy. So that's the first thing. So for a partner, and if you have any objection that like you get at the end of the call, which is like very frustrating because you feel like you just lost like an hour of your time, what I do usually is like note this objection down. When you start your next call, the first question you should ask is something to like get that answer right away. So with partner, it's pretty easy to do. It's like, do you have anyone else? Like, so if it's a B2C, usually it's like, does your wife know you're taking this call? How do you usually yeah, she doesn't know, but it's okay. Usually when they say that, at the end they're gonna like take this back and they're gonna say, I gotta talk to my wife. So usually what I do is, I don't sell B2C, but if I was to, what I would say is, okay, so she doesn't know you're taking the call, you're probably gonna need her approval to make the decision at the end. So do you feel like you wanna reschedule the call? Do you wanna invite her to join right now? No, it's okay. I don't need her, I'm able to take the decision myself. Okay, I just want to make sure. So if we come up to the call, at the end of the call, that the price makes sense, that the strategy makes sense, you're telling me you won't need your wife to take the decision. Is this correct? Yes, this is correct. So then the thing is that at the end, if they're throwing this objection, it's like, but you just told me in the beginning of the call that you don't need her. So you're able to like call them out on their own thing. So that's for the partner one. It's actually pretty easy to handle. Like usually if they have a business, like ask them, do you have any other partners? Do you own the business 100%? Do you have a sales director? Is there anyone else in the process? So like ask them those questions. So usually what I like to do in the first 15 seconds, I'm gonna be able to know how much money they make in their business to like see what kind of product they would need. And then I'll be able to, all these 5 things, I'll be able to like tackle them down all in the beginning of the thing. So second thing with money, like I don't have the money, once again, depending on what you sell. So when I sell the businesses, that's why I ask for the revenue, because the thing is like a business that does under 500K probably won't have the money to invest with me knowing the price that I charge, because like this is 500K that's gross. So it's not profit in their pocket. If you're selling something that's like an example, who said the money thing? What do you sell usually? Okay, so the thing I would do with that, and it's very, very easy, it's like, go look at their current socials. Do they post anything? Try to it's like sometimes people won't want to like tell you or give you the number of the money they make because they feel like it's too personal. Just ask them, like try to do the math in your head. Like, oh, okay, no worries. Gabriel, how many clients do you have right now? Oh, okay, cool. You have 10. And on a scale of 1 to 10, like how busy are you right now? Could you take like that many more clients or not really? I'm actually very busy right now. I'm about a 9.5 out of 10. Okay, good. Makes sense. Usually, how much does a client like brings you in? I would say about $2,000 a month. Bam, he makes 12K a month. You know what I mean? So like you could, if they're not willing to answer the question, good. But don't accept their no for an answer. Like just like switch it up and like try to find something. So that's usually what I do with the money thing. Is I try to tackle this right away. But for my type of business, it's like I've been doing it for like so many years that I know right away if someone has the money or not. And usually when I'm not sure if they have the money, I'm just gonna like price drop even sometimes before the call, like when I'm setting the lead, just to see how they react to it. Okay, by the way, I don't know your situation. I don't know how much your business make. I don't want to assume anything, but I also don't want you to lose your precious time. So working with us is going to start at minimum 10K. How do you feel about this? Is this something that's impossible for you, or it's a big red flag and we end the call right here? Or how do you see this? Boom. Once again, like you never want to assume anything for the people. So that's the thing. So that's usually how I tackle the money example with this. So once again, it's like if the money is a problem at the end, it's because you didn't do your job properly and like the question you ask. And then there's always 2 things. There's the money side and there's the value perceived for the thing. So it's like pretty much everyone here has a credit card. Like if people really wanted to do it, they would use their credit card. They have money aside. Usually it's just a smoke screen. It's like if something is very important for you, like you're gonna find a way to do it. Like for example, it's like people like right now, Montreal is in the playoff. It's like $3,000 for a pair in the Reds. It's crazy. People that make like $40K a year still find the money to buy the tickets. So it's not a question of money. Like it's never a question of money. It's like obviously like if you're selling a Lamborghini, it's a different thing. But usually it's not really a question of money. It's more either they don't perceive the value or it's like it's not important for them enough. So the thing also is that you'll never be able to sell to someone that it's a nice to have. You got to be able to figure out, is it a nice to have for you, Gabriel, to get that marketing? Or it's like, it's a must have or my business will collapse. So someone that's in a nice to have, it's going to be very, very hard for them to sell. So usually how you do it is like, you got to ask the right question to make them realize that it's actually not a nice to have and it's a must to have. But once again, you don't want to convince them, you want to ask them the right question. So that's for the money objection. I want to think about it. Usually, once again, it's a smoke screen. Usually it comes back to the money or it comes back to something else. So when they say, I want to think about it, hey, there's no worry, man. Like, what do you want to think about? And usually they're going to say, oh, I just need to sleep on it. You know, it's a big decision, whatever. So there's 2 types of things you could do with this. Like usually if you do your beginning of the call, like the first 10 to 15 minutes right, and you ask the right questions, you'll already know what they're talking about when they say, I want to think about it. It's either going to be money problem, partner problem, will it work? Maybe they think the price is too high. Usually it's very rare that it's a real objection. Unless like me, you're saying you're selling B2B where it's like very expensive service. In the B2C world, usually think about it means I don't want to tell you, but it's a polite way to say no. So that's how I do it. Or another technique that you could also use is, perfect, there's no worries. I'm going to send you an email with all the information you need. Just before we end the call, what would you like me to include in the email? And then they're going to say, I don't know, could you include me, like, is there a guarantee? Could you include me some testimonials? Bam, you're back in the conversation and you know that this is actually like what they're looking about. So usually this is rarely like an actual objection unless you're selling a B2B offer that's very, very expensive. That's pretty much it. Will it work? Guarantees? Yeah, that's something. I'm going to give you an example. The marketing agency world right now in Quebec space is very saturated. Like, it's crazy. It's like a very big red ocean where, like, especially like construction companies that we target in home improvement and all these stuff, they're very targeted by cold call, cold email, by ads. So what we launch as an offer is like we're charging 10 grand for 4 months to start the system. And then what I did is like, okay, we know we can actually bring them results compared to a lot of these agencies. So what I did is I added a clause where it's like, you don't pay till you get your first close. So the thing with this is like, it's still the same contract that you sign, but I'm only gonna like charge you the 10K once you get your first close. So I'm actually gonna work for free till you get your first sell. So that's something that I did, knowing that my industry right now is very sick and there's a lot of people that they sell nonsense, and a lot of the leads we have been burned by agency in the past. So that's going to depend on like the market and where you are in terms of like, is it very sophisticated? Is there a lot of competition, or is there like a blue market, blue ocean? In terms of guarantees, personally, I don't really like guarantees of results because it's like what I always tell them. It's like I have so many clients now that it's not one client or not like one more, one less that's going to change my finances. So it's like, it's not valuable for me because like the 10 grand I'm going to charge you, if you don't have results, like you're not going to speak good about me. It's going to turn off my reputation, and my reputation is worth way more than 10 grand. So that's usually what I say. It's like, it's not worth it for me to take a deal if I don't think it could bring result. But once again, there's always a risk. That's the thing though. There's always a risk. There's always a portion of the factor that you don't control. So it's like, let's say for example, I've been doing a mortgage broker and construction company for a couple of years now, and like we have amazing result with them. But then it's like I could generate the best lead in the world. If they don't want to call these leads, I'm not doing the closings for them. So there's still a part of where so there's always a risk. Like there's nothing in life that's like 100% guaranteed unless you're a Christian and you're going to heaven. So that's the thing. Usually like there's a funny saying that says the only two things, like let's say not on a Christian perspective, the only two things that are guaranteed in life is you're going to pay taxes this year and you're going to die at some point. That's what people usually say as a joke. Then about the discounting, usually it's because, once again, they don't see the value in what you do. So it comes back to the money, to the value perceived. I never give discount personally. Never give discount, because usually cheap clients are like the worst clients to deal with. Because it's like, it's stupid, but like I sell contract for 48,000 and I sell contracts for like, I used to sell contracts for like 6,000, and the clients for 6,000 were texting me like 5 times and they're requiring 5 times the amount of work that the 48,000 clients. Why? Because it's a percentage of the expense. So if the business makes $1 million a year and you charge them like, let's say 48,000, versus if it's like a self-employed person that makes like 80K a year and you charge them like, let's say 8K, this is literally like 10% of his income. And what I realized also is like for my business, I don't take any clients that doesn't have an incorporation. Because the thing is like if you're self-employed, you have the same bank account to pay your rent, your grocery store, and the marketing. If you have an incorporation, I have a bank account for my personal salary and what I spend personally, like grocery store and things like that. And then I have my company bank account. I have like way more money in my company bank account than I have in my personal account. So like for me, a $2,000 expense on my business account and a $2,000 on my personal account is 2 completely different things. So the thing with that is that usually when you sell to like people that are either self-employed, they don't make a lot of money, the thing with it is that the same 2 grand they're going to give you in marketing, they see it as like they could have paid the rent or paid groceries with it. So that's the thing also with this. So yeah, in terms of discount, personally, I would never advise anyone here to take discount. You're better off working for free to get results in client testimonial than working for cheap. Because the clients that you work for cheap to, it's horrible. For real, it's crazy. Like it's literally gonna take you like 10 times the and then you gotta think also that like if you rush and you give a discount, they're taking the spot in terms of fulfillment that a bigger client could have taken. So that's also something that I saw with this. I think that pretty much covers like the 5 main objections. Is there any more Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
About this, but let's say we are the ones that have to look for an agency just like you.
Yeah.
How do we differentiate the ones that are legit and the ones that are not? Because like you said, and I see it in my work,
Yeah.
many of them are not legit.
Yeah.
And how
Yeah, I would say the ones that, like Lucas was saying, like the ones that have been running ads for the longest. Usually, like running ads is very simple. Like you could open any credit card you want. Like usually, what people do when they want to scam you, so they're gonna open up a credit card with 10,000. They're gonna max it out, and then they're gonna declare bankrupt. Like they won't ever pay the card. So so like they'll just like try to like stack as much ad as they can on the card. So usually, people that like they come up and they go and they come up and they go and they always shut down, shut off their ads. That's not a good sign. Usually, like people that have been running ads consistently, that you've been seeing them on the feed for a couple of months, a couple of years, I would go with this. Then client testimonial is also a big thing, where like you want to ask them like, what kind of result did you have? Did you have any result in my industry? And think they're trying to like, in French we say like vendre sa salade. So the thing is like, you gotta be careful also, because the thing they're gonna sell you is always to make them look good. So like almost as if you were hiring someone, like ask them hard question. Like you obviously don't have. I would ask this to an agency owner, where it's like anyone that tells you that has 100% success rate, either they don't have enough clients so that they didn't fail, or they're lying to you, because it's impossible. Like there's always things that are gonna happen. Even us, like we try the best that we can. We have the best heart. We have the best intentions, and sometimes we're gonna take like companies and it's not gonna go as well as we thought. So the thing is, like, you gotta ask them, if it doesn't go well, what do you do with a client that doesn't go well? Personally, we're either gonna refund the people, or what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of find a way. Either we work for them for free till they get the results that they wanted to get, and we don't charge them anything more before they get the results. So usually that's what I would do. I would ask for client testimonial, to talk to them, referral, as if like you own a duplex and you want to rent it to someone. You're gonna ask, can I have the number of your past owners so that I could see if you're a good payer and everything. I'll do the same thing, but then I will also ask some hard question. Like, it's not possible that there's 100% guarantee. There's always a risk. But then it's like, how do you deal with this? And that's what you want to see usually. It's like, there's a funny saying that says, like, you haven't been in business long enough and you haven't done enough things if you haven't gotten, like, at least, like, someone that tried to sue you, someone that tried to, like, it comes with the things. Like, honestly, like, I've been in the past year, like we have like a very good success rate. We're very honest in the way we think, and like people that know me, like know how I operate my business. We still deal with like legal cases like here and there. Like we probably have like 1 or 2 a year, and it's very normal, because it's like the more clients you start to deal with, like the more. And there's some people like they literally make it their mission, especially when they see that you're Christian and you think in a righteous way, where it's like you have God's favor and you start to like advance much faster than they do, and it seems like you don't work as much as they do. They're gonna try to take what you have. So like that's very important. Is like protect what you have. Like, it's like, yes, we're Christian, but we also gotta protect what God is trusting us with. So that's something. Like to tell you a more of a personal story, I've seen like some companies that they're trying to like intimidate you. They're trying to like scare you. Like I'm gonna sue you. It's like, read the law, like read what's in it, and like actually like inform yourself. Don't just be like, oh, like obviously like pray about it and ask to God, for God to like intervene in the situation, but also like be smart. If you're able to like talk with a lawyer, like know the law, know the stuff. Personally, I was like, one of my competitor, they used a client that we had to like try to sue us. And I read the thing. I went to some very qualified people, and we were able to countersue them. And not only did we not like let ourselves like get beat up, we countersue them, and we were actually able to win. Like they just canceled on the how they were suing us, and we made money out of them. So that's the thing. Like, it's like you gotta protect what you do, and the more you advance in business, and the more you have success, the more people are gonna try to like take it from you. So like, just be very careful with this, and protect what God has trusted you with. So I don't know if it answers your question well. Nice. Anyone else has questions so far? Yeah. 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 So the blue is someone that's very analytic. So they're gonna like try to calculate everything. It's like you could like literally put like a gold bar in front of them and say like, pay me $1, I'll give it to you, and they won't do it. Because in their brain, it doesn't process like this. It's like, no, I actually gotta sit down. I gotta see that there might be a catch. So that's usually all they are. Versus the red, it's like let's go. I don't have time. Like, fasten up the process. Like, tell me the price. Like, tell me how it works. Like, they're gonna be like, sometimes they're gonna talk like very fast. They're gonna talk like, they're gonna try to like almost intimidate you and like take the lead on the thing. So that's the biggest difference. And then there's also like the yellow and the green, which are more like complex. But if you want to look at it, you could go online and ask. There's red, blue, green, yellow sales personality. Just type this on Google, and everything is gonna come out. So did I answer your question properly? Nice. Anyone else has questions so far? Yeah. 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 So usually, depending on what you sell, the thing with packages also is that it's like you know what you're selling. So you're the expert. You're supposed to be the one that guides the people. So usually what I see is that people like they're gonna offer like 5 different prices, but it's like okay, but I don't know which one to choose. Like you're the expert. You're supposed to guide me in something. So like usually like let's say I have 2 different packages. I have one that's 10 grand for 4 months and we only do Facebook ads, and one that's 30 grand for 6 months and we do content plus Facebook ads. So usually what I ask them is like, you gotta see content as like you're investing into a stock. Like if I'm buying a BMO stock, I probably won't make like 100% return in the first month, but it's realistic to say I'm gonna make like 10 to 12% return over the year. So like I say, it's like if you wanna have like fast clients, like, and that's the only thing that's important for you right now is ROI. How much money do I put in? How much money do I get out? Do ads. If you're willing to like invest into your brand and you know you're gonna be there for a long time, then also do content. So I give them the 2 options, but I highly suggest, like depending on their situation, which one to do. So usually what I do is people have too many offers, too many different prices, and then they just confuse people with it. And in terms of the price drop, the thing is that it's almost like a joke right now where it's like, especially in the B2C world, or if you sell a coaching program, like you're gonna do this whole presentation where you're gonna talk, you won't ask any question. At the end, it's like, oh, it's 5K. And then usually what people do, and I used to do this too, it's like you stop talking because like you want to make them, so it's like, it's gonna be 5K. And then I'm just gonna stare at you for 20 seconds and wait for you to have a reaction. And then it's almost like a boxing fight. It's like you jab, I jab you back. But it doesn't work like this. So what I like to do with this is I like to not be awkward with the price drop. Where it's like, it's always kind of a taboo on the call where it's like, we know it costs something, we don't know how much it costs. So usually what I like to do with this is I want to follow my framework. So if someone asks for the price, like don't be weird about it and say like, oh, stay till the end, I'll tell you the price. It's like, okay, like, yeah, it's actually, if you ask for the price, usually it's at the end of the presentation, but no worries, it's 5 grand. How do you feel about this? Like, is it a situation where like we're exiting the call right now? Or is it a situation where like we could continue with this? And then they know and they have time to like actually adapt to the thing. And then also if like it's a big shock, the price you charge, probably in your marketing or in the way like you did your setting pre-call, there's some things that you could have done that could have been better. Because it shouldn't be a shock, like how much you charge. Like if it's a shock, it's probably because like you're not explaining well what you do, or they just don't see the value in what you do. And we come back to this. If it's a must-have or it's a nice-to-have, someone that it's a nice-to-have, it's going to be very, very hard to convince them on the price you charge because it's like, okay, it's like, it would be nice to have this. It's like this chair. Like, I would like to have it, like, let's say in my living room, but it's like, I already have 2 chairs in my living room. I don't really need it. So if it's on special, I might buy it, but I don't need desperately a chair. Compared to, like, if I just spoke for 2 hours and I'm very thirsty, like, even if the water bottle is $20, I'm still gonna buy it because I want to drink water. So that's the main difference between it. I don't know if I answered the question. It's a good one. Yeah, it depends. I mean, obviously I'm selling B2B, so it's like if I see that they're lost, like they're kind of like going around, and it's like usually people like they know how much an agency costs, like if they've been in business for a couple of times. So if I see that they're confident in whatever, they don't ask for the price, I just do it. And if I see that they're kind of like a bit lost and like they're like very sketchy about the price, how much is it gonna cost, and like usually I just price drop. And it's like if they react in a way that, oh, that's too much for me, it's like, okay, I'm gonna save your time and I'm gonna save my time. So that's the thing, because like all of the times people are gonna talk for like 50 minutes, they're not gonna ask questions, and then they're gonna realize it's the same thing. It's like if like at the end someone tells you like, oh, I'm actually moving in 2 weeks, so it's not a good time right now, like let's rebook a call in 1 month. It's like you should have known. Like you should have asked the question in the beginning of the call that, is there anything happening? Are you moving? Are you getting married? Are you going on a trip? What's your current situation? Do you have a wife? Are you single? Are you divorced? Like, are you alone? So like just ask question. And like, that's why I'm saying like you don't sell with a script. you try to understand the psychology behind all people buy things. And the more you've been selling the same thing, the easier it gets, because it's like you know your potential customers and all they buy, the things that they buy, and you know usually what the question that they have. So if a lot of the times on your calls you always end up with the same objection, it's like maybe like include it in your presentation at the beginning in the question that you ask, and just ask this question. Like, do you have a budget in mind? Is there anything? And like talk about the money, because then what's going to happen is you're always going to be at the same point where it's like they're going to say, oh, it's too expensive, I got to think about it, and then you're just going to have to fight with them and convince them. And it's like, even if you're able to convince them at the end, usually the people are going to have what we call buyer's remorse, where it's like in 24 hours, the next day they're going to say, I actually want a refund. Then you're like, oh my God, I just spent like an hour like closing them, and then I got to give them their money back. So usually if I don't feel like someone is in it, there's also a principle in sales that's called the push and pull. So what you want to do with this also is that if someone seems a bit like shaky or doesn't seem like he really wants to do it, I'm gonna push them away. And then unless like they're trying to get back in the conversation, like they pull back in the conversation, I'll just like leave them. So it's like, oh yeah, it could make sense, 10 grand, and they're very like nonchalant the way they talk. It's like, are you sure? Because like the way you sound doesn't seem like it's really a must for you. But I might get this wrong. And then they're going to say like, oh, no, I'm sorry, maybe I sounded wrong, but no, it's actually like very interesting for me. And then boom, you just changed your thing. So that's usually what you want to do. Because then if you have someone that like, let's say you sell on Zoom and their camera is not open, and then like they're on their phone, and then they're like, it's like you also like, you don't want to be disrespected on the thing, where it's like, see it as like you have a dealership or a garage, when it's like they have the flat tire and you have the things to like the tools to repair it. So you want to see it as this. And a lot of the times people are too attached to the sell, and they sound needy, they sound greedy, they want the money. So what ends up happening is that you're going to tolerate whatever. They're going to show up late, they're not going to open the camera, they're going to play on their phone, they're going to get a call on the call. It's like you'll tolerate anything because you're scared of losing them, because you're too attached to the end results. So what I usually like to do with this is I remember myself that they have the problem, I have the solution. So they need me more than I need them. And that's how it's going to change everything in your process. It's going to change with discount. It's going to change with all the price drop and things like that. So even if you are needy, like try to not be, because if you're only there for the commission, like it's going to like, we're going to see it from the way you speak, from the way like your body language works. So that's usually what I do. And then it's like, you need to like develop the flair to like understand what's an objection and what's an actual situation. Where it's like, if like, let's say his mom just passed away, it's a pretty valid reason to like not get into a new process right now. Versus if they're saying like, oh, I don't know, I'm going on a trip in a month, so I guess I'll see when I get back. So what I'll do with this is like, okay, but like we could also end the call right now. Like we don't have to keep the file open. It's like you don't really seem like it's too much. If you want to have another number, you could call me back when you would need it. If they say yeah, I just end it up right now. Because like people are gonna fight with it, because like once again, like they're so needy that they want every single sale that's there. But even if you sell to them, they're gonna be like a very bad client. They won't pay you. They'll be like picky with what they do. So it's not good. Like not every money is good money to have. Like sometimes they're gonna close some weird clients. And then it's like you saw it, and it always happens to me where it's like there's some people that like I knew I shouldn't have closed. Like I thought about it after, but I was like, whatever. And then I saw some red flags, and then I continued in the relationship in the workspace, and then they end up being like so like annoying and toxic, and then they ask for a refund at the end. So it's like you spend your energy, your team's energy, you spend probably some money if you have a team to pay, and then you end up having to refund them, or they're going to give you a bad review. And it's like, try to like filtrate much more on the sales call. Like, do you actually want these clients to come in? And yeah, I don't know if it answers the question properly. Good. Anyone else has a question before we continue? Yeah.
What do you think of sales decks on a sales call?
What is sales decks?
Like a presentation, let's say you want to share what your
I think it's good. I think I would still, depending on what you sell, the problem with this usually is that you still need the beginning of the call where you ask the question, like you make sure what's your situation right now and things like that. So having a sales pitch is not bad in a sense of like if you have a presentation, especially if you do B2B or something that's very custom, it could be very nice. Personally, if I was to have one, I would more put it on the second call than on the first call. I think it's good. You just gotta be careful of not going too fast in the thing and not letting space for him or her to talk and actually express how she feels or he feels and ask questions. So that's the only thing, but I think it's good. It could help you with the thing. You just don't want to become too generic in the way you do it. Good? Anyone else? Yeah.
You said it before,
Yeah.
but what are your thoughts if the person, let's say, has nothing, and your belief is basically you still want to help the person, you still want to make sure that they're okay with what you're selling?
Yeah. So
You
like if
think
they don't have the money, you mean?
Yep, exactly.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, I don't know for you, but I'm in business to make money. So it's like,
So money still matters, basically.
yeah, but the thing is, like, you're always going to have some clients that, like, they're going to say, like, oh, do all my marketing for a year, and if I make money in a year, I'm going to write you a check. It's like, okay, like, I personally, I don't do them because it's like, once again, you go back to, like, they need me more than I need them. But it's like, if you start taking clients like this, it's going to be unfair for your other clients because it's like, why is she not paying and you're making the other ones pay? And then you don't want them to start talking where like, hey, I paid $300 a month. Hey, I paid $500. Hey, I paid $1,000 a month. Hey, I didn't pay a single thing. So then people are going to start to talk, especially in the B2C world where people like, they yap a lot. So I would personally not do it. And working for free is kind of like, unless like, it's like clients has been like very hurt in the past by, an example, my industry, another agency, and you see a potential fit. For example, we signed Walmart recently, so it's called Opti W, which is the lunette brand of Walmart. And I signed a deal with them where it's like they've been used to advertise on TV and things like that, and they didn't know if social media was going to work for them. So I give them, not a discount, but I give them a pretty good deal where I added more video for the same price. But it's because just having Walmart as a client and the door and that it could open me is like worth for me much more than just the money in itself. To have them as a case study and as a social proof. But then in your industry, it's like, unless you start and you want to have some testimony, yes, you could do it for free. But if you're well off and like you have clients enough, like don't do it for free because it's like, once again, like you need to make money unless your business is gonna die. So.
Basically.
Also a way like it. You could check le registre des entreprises du Québec to see if, because they may have a number, they may not have a number, they may not be registered. So right away you're gonna know if you lose your time or not.
Yeah, if you sell to a business, yeah. In her case, she sells to like personal for fitness. So yeah, I wouldn't personally do it for free, but then up to you and what you want to do with it. Good. So that's the thing. And like last week we saw the client acquisition side, and this week we're talking about sales. And it's like if you're able to like in your business, like don't even think about like obviously like you need to like deliver the product that you've sold to people, or like they're gonna ask for like their money back, and like your reputation will go down. But the two most important things that people often like don't want to do because it's uncomfortable is the selling part and the client acquisition part. Like if you're able to master like how to acquire clients with ads like Lucas was talking about, and you're also able to close clients, you'll never lack money another day in your life. And like that, those are the two like biggest skill set that I've been like developing for the past 2 years. I started as a video editor, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like if you're a video editor now with everything coming out with AI and stuff like this, like there's like you'll probably get replaced within 1 year by AI. So you want to have like some skill set that AI won't be able to replace you. So the two things, like I said, we spoke last week about client acquisition. So like how to acquire more clients to your business, whether that's with paid ads, so like it could be Facebook ads, it could be, oh my gosh. It could be Facebook ads, it could be Google ads, it could be like any type of ads, it could be cold call, it could be organic content, so it could be a bunch of things. And then the second thing is sell, because you could acquire as much clients as you can or as much lead as you can. If you're not able to close them, it's not going to be good. So usually what people do is that they're going to focus, like I said, on their logo. They're going to focus on like getting a new shirt for their business. They're going to focus on like a bunch of stuff, like even a website that they don't actually like. There's like, if right now like you start out in your business and you're not like making like let's say already like 100K, the only two things you should focus about in your day: how do I acquire more clients, and how do I sell more to them? So that's the number one, the two main things you should focus on. It's like it's that simple and it's that easy. But people are gonna spend their whole day watching YouTube videos, watching podcasts, reading books, because they know what they want to do and they know what you need to do. So like anyone in the room here, like I would be very shocked if you wouldn't be able to tell me like I know what I need to do to get to the place that I want to be with my business. Usually people know deep down what they need to do, but they don't want to do it because it's not fun. And I'm going to tell you something that I've learned over the past year, where we changed the product we sell, the pricing, the clients we want to advertise to, because it's like the business that are the most profitable are often the most boring one. So usually people want to do something that's like so flashy and nice, and like I want to be a social media influencer. Like, good if it's your dream, nice, but it's like just go with the math. Like how many like social media influencer actually make a lot of money? Like GNT that comes to this church, I was talking with him. He was the biggest YouTuber in Quebec, and I think his top year he made like 150,000. So it's a good salary. Obviously, like not complaining, but he never made $1 million, and yet he was the biggest creator. He was sponsored by Monster. He was making YouTube AdSense. So it's like you also gotta like be sure you're in the right vehicle to get there. Because sometimes people could work 20 years at a certain stuff or in a project, but if like your potential of making money is not like, let's say $1 million, like there's some businesses that people are gonna wanna start, and I'm not gonna like name drop things because I don't wanna like crush someone's life if they're going after something now. If you wanna ask me, I could give you my opinion, but there's some certain type of business you'll never be able to reach $1 million. Not because you're not a good entrepreneur, just because the model in itself, it's impossible to reach $1 million. So that's the thing. So once again, you want to focus on client acquisition and you want to focus on sales. Like literally that's the only two things you would need to focus on. And it's like, there's some businesses that have like very bad product, very bad service delivery, and they're still gonna make way more profit than you do, because why? They focus on these two things and they've learned how to do these two things. But then obviously you need to have a good service, because then it's like a big circle where it's like I'm acquiring more clients, I'm closing them, they come here, and then there's gonna be a drop off. If you have a bad service, they're gonna like just die here. But if you have a good service, they're gonna renew, they're gonna refer some more people, they're gonna probably upsell, so you're gonna be able to sell something higher, and then you're gonna go back in this thing. So that's the number one thing, where it's like, if ever my business has a cash flow issue or I need more cash, it's literally, I take my Facebook ads account, I up the amount I'm putting a day, so I get more leads, and then I'm reopening sales, and I'm gonna close deal myself. I'm gonna get some money, whatever it is, I need 10, 20, 30 grand. And then when I get this, whatever, I'm able to pay back whatever I need for now, and then I go back into whatever I do in the day-to-day of the business. So like these are literally the two most like powerful things. Usually people are gonna think like it comes with hard work, and like obviously you need to work hard when you start to like lay down the foundation and like know what you need to work on. But usually 20% of the effort you make or you put in are gonna bring in 80% of the results. And it's sad, but most Christians or most people that start in business, they're gonna focus on the 80% effort that brings 20% results. And that comes back to, we're gonna talk today about delegation too, where it's like, there's some tasks that are not worth doing. So I'm gonna be very controversial with what I'm about to say, and like my mom always like fights me on it, and she finds that it's stupid that I used to have a cleaning person that came to clean my condo, and I bought some meal prep from someone, and I'll never change the tire myself. I'll go to the my dad is very sad every time because he thought I was gonna be someone that's manual. My dad's a mechanician, so he thought that I was gonna like take from him. I'm not even able to install a frame on the wall. So that's how bad I am with tools and things like that. I don't own anything. I don't own a marteau or tournevis, nothing. But the thing is, like, I have a skill set that I'm able to generate enough money with the amount of hours that I'm working, that I could pay people for all of this. So then it comes back to like, you gotta calculate how much your time is worth per hour. And then whatever, like let's say it's like whatever, it's $50. Then anything that's under $50, you should technically delegate it, unless you like to do them. Personally, I don't like to clean, I don't like to cook, I don't like to do any of these stuff. So I'm like, okay, like if I'm making more money per hour working than what it would cost me to delegate them, I'm gonna do the same thing. So why is it that on my business, I'm no longer editing the videos, is once again, I would be capped. I don't know a single video editor in the Quebec space that, I'm not talking about like I'm filming and I'm just doing editing. I don't know anyone that makes more than 10 grand a month just editing. Why? Because there's a cap. Like even if you make $50 a video, like the amount of video you could make in a week, in a month, you're gonna be capped at some point. So the thing is, like, I was able to go from being a video editor when I first started coming to church, and I was making like probably like, I don't know, $5,000 a month. And then I went to making, the business did like the first year 475,000. Then we did 1.75, and we're gonna do 3 this year. So the thing is, like, how did I went from like making 5,000 a month to like the business generating like 250K a month? It's super simple. Is I delegated all the tasks that I didn't need to do. So it's like, let's say it cost me like $25 an hour to hire a videographer to do the shootings with the clients. If a shooting takes 4 hours, that cost me $100. During that 4 hours, let's say I close one deal for $3 grand. Well, with this 4 hours, it cost me $100 to be able to make $3,000. And that's really all you want to see your time. And the same way Lucas was saying with the ads, where don't see your ads as an expense, see your ads as an investment. And it's like a lot of the times people are scared to like put money in ads, but it's like he was saying, it's like if you put $1 and you get $12 back, that's like literally, like that's the amount of return you make. Like you won't make that with any single stock, even if you invest in the craziest crypto offer ever. I don't even think Trump's coin, when it came out, did that kind of return. So that's the thing, is like having a business is a very nice thing where you could create some jobs for people, you could bless people, you could tie it from your profit to back to a church or a ministry or whatever you want to do with it. So that's the thing. But once again, when we go back to the delegation, unless like you like to do it, like obviously if you like to clean your house, like do it. It's gonna bring you fun. Like obviously you don't want to be a robot, which you just work 7 days out of 7, 24 hours a day. You need to sleep and have a social life and a social balance. So, but if you don't like to clean your house and you're able to generate more money in your business per hour than it's gonna cost you to clean your house, why do it? What I did is I realized there's some stuff in my life that I don't like to do. And what's nice is then when you're able to generate enough money with your business, you could actually pay some people to do it. So you don't have to like do the stuff that you don't like to do. So that's something that I like. If you don't like to do your grocery shopping, open Uber Eats, and you could do your whole grocery shopping on Uber Eats. It's gonna be delivered to your door. And then you could do that with anything. Before I go more into like the delegation part, does anyone has question on like the sales part before we kind of like recap or... Yeah.
What is the delay between the first call, the discovery call, and the second one?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the sales cycle is going to be very different from one industry to the other. So for an example, in my industry, I realized that the cycle is either from 0 to like 9 days, or it's from like 27 to like 44 days. Like I'm very precise because I know my stats, which you should do if you want to scale your business and know where I'll make more sales. But this is what I realized. So either people are going to opt in my CRM from my ads, get on 2 calls with us under 9 days because they're on a crunch of time to get an agency, or it's more going to become like, oh, whatever, I'll check next month, and then they end up closing in 27 to 54 days. Then what you want to do is, this is to close a client. Then you want to try to book the call as close as possible to the time that they opt in. Why? Because that's when they're hot. That's when it's fresh in their mind. So if you call a lead that just came in, and if you're able to do it under 5 minutes, great. Like let's say it's 8:36. Like let's say a lead just came in at 8:35 and I'm calling him. Like, or Thursday. If I can book him for tomorrow, awesome. What I realized is even if you book them for Monday, which doesn't seem to be like too far in advance, people kind of have like a reset in their brain where like they forget everything they've committed to the past week. So usually people don't show up over weekends. That's what I realized. So personally, I don't. Like let's say for example, like I'm leaving for Arizona tomorrow. I'm only coming back on Tuesday, which I'm only going to be able to take some calls on Wednesday. So it wasn't worth it for me today to book myself some call for next week because it's like literally 6 days. People won't remember it. So usually what we want to do is the first call, you want to book it as close as possible to the time they opt in. And then the second call, if they're interested on getting on a second call, ideally you do it under 24 hours or 48 hours max. If it goes more than that, that could be lead back to a smoke screen. Maybe it's not that important for them because then it's like we got on a call. So if it was important for you to move forward and you actually want to take a decision, why would you take so much time to like get on a second call? Sometimes it could be that like it's a very valid reason, like whatever they're, but it's like everyone can, if they really want to, they could make a 30-minute space in their calendar. So if they're not willing to, it's just because it's not that important for them. So that's what I would tell. If you're able to like book your first call as soon as close as the setting call you did when you first called the lead, and then you're able to book your second call as close as the first call that just ended. What I like to do also is like book the call before you close the first one, because then that's where you go into a ghost mode. And usually what's nice about it is that if you ask for a time to like book the second call and they start saying, oh, I don't know, I'll get back to you, I'll text you back, then maybe you go back to like you have a smoke screen right now and they don't actually want to think. So what I do is I do a push and pull once again. I push them back. Okay, but we don't have to get on that second call. Are you sure you actually want the second call? Because it doesn't seem like it's really important for you. I don't want to waste your time. Once again, never make it about you, always make it about them. So I don't want to waste your time. No. It's very important. It's just that I have my sister is in town from Vancouver for the week, and I just want to spend the time with her. I haven't seen her in a long time. Monday, I'll be good. Awesome. Then the second thing you want to do, that is called a show up rate. So it's like, let's say I book 10 calls, and the industry average is like 50 to 60%, which I think you can get higher than this. Like, I'm able to get usually about a 75 to 80% show up rate on my calls. And think of it, it's like people have just accepted like the standard at like 50 to 60% is standard and it's good. But it's like, it's still crazy when you think about it. Half of the people they're gonna commit to you to show up on a call won't show up. So to up your show up rate, what I like to do, first of all, like I said, you want to book your call as soon as possible. From the first to the second, or from the setting call to the closing call. And then how to up your show up rate is what I'm going to do is, let's say the morning of, I'm going to text all, so let's say I have 6 calls on my calendar right today. I'm going to text all these leads. I'm going to text them, hey, are we still good for 10:30? Hey, are we still good for 12:30? If after like 1 or 2 hours they haven't answered, I'm going to call them 2 times. And that's a rule that I give people. When you, either you do cold call, or if you call a lead, always double dial. Always. Double dial, because why? First of all, people don't really answer their phone as much as they used to. And like now, iPhone is ruling out some weird features where like you gotta say what you want before they're letting you on the call, so it's like very annoying. Also another thing, if you're using GHL or any CRM, I've noticed that the answer rate with a CRM is not that good. I would suggest you to, like, even if you have a CRM, which you should, to have like proper follow-ups, like call them with your personal phone, and please don't do a numéro masqué. One time I had a client, we look at his stats, and he was like, I don't understand why my connection rate is so bad. Like I called like 100 leads, and there's like 12 of them that answer. I'm like, okay, that's weird. So like I started asking him some question, what's your process? He's like, oh, I don't want people to have my number, so I do like numéro masqué. I was like, yeah, people think you're a scam, and that's why they're not answering. So that's the thing. So you want to track every KPI you have, because in marketing or in sales, I like to say that every trouble or bottleneck that you have, every problem, as a solution, you just got to know your KPI. A lot of the times, the mistake that people do that I realize is that they don't track anything. They don't know what's their show-up rate. They don't know their closing rate. They think they close for 80%. I'm a top closer. I close for 80%. Okay, and then we actually sit down and we do all the maths, and it's like, no, you don't. You just don't write the calls that you didn't close. So it's like, you fake your numbers. So always, either you cold call or you call a lead, double dial, because if they're on Do Not Disturb, it's going to unlock the Do Not Disturb. So you're actually going to be able to reach them. If they don't answer from that, what you're going to do is you're going to write by text, Victor, with a question mark. That's it. You don't write anything else. Why? You want to spike curiosity, you want to spike interest where they're going to answer you back. That's what I do. Personally, what we like to do is in our CRM, we have different pipelines and stage. So what we do is we have like day 1 to day 7, and I'm going to call them 2 times a day plus 1 text every day for 7 days. And it's like people are going to think like, this is crazy, but it's like you paid for this lead. So it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to call him 2 times and throw him in the garbage? It's like some people pay $40, $60, $100 per lead. Personally, I don't like to waste money, so that's what we do. So we're going to call them 7 days in a row, and we're going to try to do it at different times. And then at some point, people are going to have to answer you, right? So that's usually what I like to do. But it's like people don't realize it, but it's like you throw so much money in marketing, but it's like if you would just, sometimes I see people that they don't even talk to like 60% of their leads. So think of it, there's 60% of your ad budget that you literally put in the garbage because you've got information that you were never able to speak to them. If you're not able to speak to them, you'll never be able to sell to them. So that's what I like to do. And then to up your show-up rate, like I said, you send them a text the morning of. And even if they auto-book, if you have an auto-book funnel where like they go from the ad to a lead form, they become a lead and then they can auto-book, I still like to call them. Because then you want to make sure that you're not going to hop on a call with someone. And usually what I notice is like we have a lot of automation from the time that someone fills the form and then books a call. Usually people that like they don't answer anything, they don't open any emails, they don't answer any text, they won't ever show up because the commitment is not there. So what I like to do also with this, for my industry, I find that asking them the website is the best way to go about it. So I say, hey, just so I'll be ready for the call, can you just send me your website? If they don't answer me, I'm going to call them. And then if they don't answer, I'm just going to cancel the appointment. Because they'll just make me lose my time. And then it's taking a spot in my calendar that could be taken by someone else. So the thing with that is you got to go back to, you ask the website, that's good for my industry, you got to figure out what's good for your industry. When I ask the website, I'm already able to see. If they don't have a website, usually it's because the business is not that big. If they have a website and it's very like old and like rusty, you know that it's like they don't actually care too much about marketing. Usually they don't run ads. All their business comes from word of mouth referrals. So it also allows me to like understand even before I talk to them what kind of person I'm gonna have in front of me. And then if they answer about their website and you're able to like text with them, usually they're gonna show up. So that's what I realized. It's like just the people that like they opt in, they fill your form, they do an auto book funnel, like they auto book a call, and they never answer any of your texts or any of your automation, especially if you call them right away, just cancel the call. Because then it's like, and that's why my show up rate is so high, because I don't count them in, because they're dead leads, they're ghosts. And that's sad, but you'll never be able to like get rid of 100% of them. So I'm able to get to a 80% show up rate, which means that if I book 8 calls, there's 10 of them that are gonna show up, is because I'll do all of these steps. And then it's like people don't realize, but like putting more money in the marketing is not always the answer, where it's like if you're able to up your pickup rate, where when you call a lead, the amount of people that answer, if you're able to up your show up rate, it's like all little metrics that you don't realize, but like it's like, let's say I have the industry standard, let's say 40%. And I throw like 15 grand a month in marketing. And I throw the same, now here I throw 30 grand a month. I don't know if you realize, but here I spend half of the budget and I'm gonna have the same amount of sales call as here. It's crazy when you think about it. So like people, like they're gonna say, oh, I gotta put more money in marketing. But then if you do this, what's gonna happen is like your cost of acquisition, your CAC, is gonna double. Then all of your other metrics are gonna double. That's gonna go from your profit, and you're not gonna be able to scale your ads as much. So usually, like people don't actually need more leads. Like they think they do, but it's not the case. They just need to have a better structure on all they see. So what we do, a lot of our clients, and what we tell the clients, and both of my account managers have been really trained on this, is that generating leads is fairly easy. Like anyone can pick up a Facebook ads, set up some ads, get some leads. But then how we have such good results with a client is that we're very active and like making sure and keeping them accountable that they're gonna call the lead, they're doing their follow-ups. We want to have feedback every 7 days on the lead quality, so we're able to see like what's happening, what's wrong, like where's the bottleneck. So we want to think of the next bottleneck even before they do, so we're always one step ahead. Always, 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 always. I don't know if it answers your question there properly. Anyone else has a question on sales? Yeah.
Well, I have a question. So about sales, let's say because you told me like to do webinars.
Yeah.
Okay, so webinars
Yeah.
mostly are in group, right? So
Yeah.
you're not calling somebody personally, so it's a different dynamic.
Yeah.
Now, most of the people that what I realized is that they will present things, they talk, whatever, okay, it's good, and then at the end they make an offer that it's valid for a certain amount of time. Let's say if you book something with me before the end of the call or today, then you're gonna get like a special price. What do you think about that strategy?
Yeah. Depends on your audience and how you do it. Where, I mean, it could be good, and then it depends on the amount of people that show up. Usually on a webinar, what you're gonna see is that because you're running a free event, And that's also another thing that Lucas was saying last week that I can't like tell you guys enough about it. It's like stop optimizing for your cost per lead. Like people just want to, how can I have cheaper leads? How can I have cheaper leads? How can I? But it's like, once again, like I said, and Lucas said last week, you don't need more leads. You need more clients. So the thing is like, unless you run a webinar, a free event, you should never like try to aim for leads that are like under $10. If you run a webinar, it's a free event. So it's normal that you're going to get between, like depending on your potential audience or market, total adjustable market, you're going to get like anywhere between like 3 to like 10, like let's say $12, because it's a free event, so there's not a lot of commitment for them. If you run like a lead form for your service, like usually the target we try to have is anywhere between like 15 to like $40. Like actually, if we see clients that have campaign where their leads are like $3, $4, $5, $6, we voluntarily are gonna ask them like, what's the number one point of disqualification? Like, why are you not like booking the leads in a sales call? And then what we do with this is we take the question, we reverse engineer, and we add the number one disqualification point in the form. So we add a question, we add some friction, so that we're gonna make her cost per lead go from like 6 to like 15, but it's good because it's like it's fake leads, because these leads are gonna call them and you're just gonna waste your time. And something in sales is you wanna have momentum. Like the easiest way to close a deal is when you just close a deal, because you're on the momentum, you're in a good streak, and then sometimes you're gonna have like these periods where it's like nothing seems to work, and it's like you know how to close, but you almost feel like you're not able to close them anymore, and you're not good at sales. So the thing is like, you don't want to have like a lot of like very bad leads, because it's gonna drain either your sales team or yourself personally. It's gonna drain you, because you're gonna start to think that like people don't have money, we're in a recession, like people don't actually have money for my services, and it's gonna start to play in your mind. So you actually don't want to like have too many like cheap leads. So that's one thing. To come back to your point as a webinar, then it depends on the amount of people and what's your goal with the thing. It could be a great thing. If you want to look at, I think his name is Russell Brunson from, I forgot the name, ClickFunnels. Yeah. ClickFunnels, so he's very good at that. That's what he does. He does like live pitch on stage. So I would look at his stuff and how he does pitch. You gotta add like some kind of FOMO, some kind of discount or promotion, or like why would people have to act right now? So it could work. Once again, you just want to have enough people on it so that it's worth it for you to do it. It could be a good idea. Because like Lucas said, like to sell, I think you were saying $3,500. Yeah, to sell a $3,500 course just like on a website or a page is going to be pretty hard, because it's a pretty high price, so that people, they usually won't buy that expensive of a product or service just like on the website. So yeah, I think webinar with a pitch would be good, and I would look up his stuff, the guy from ClickFunnels, to see how to do like, because it's kind of, it could be hard. Like you gotta have a right structure, or it's gonna just like be un coup d'épée dans l'eau. So yeah, does that answer your question? Nice. Anyone else before we? Yeah.
For a part of business,
Yeah.
a software like the GHL,
Yeah.
is it the way to go, or you could add another software?
Yeah, I think GHL is the easiest one. Like it's one of the most popular also, and it's pretty easy to use and friendly to use. Then there's like 3 subscription. I think there's like $97 USD a month, $197, and like $497. I think with the $97 a month, you're fine, and you could start with this. Yeah, I think GHL is great, because it's like when you start having a lot of leads, it's impossible. Like you won't be able, like in your mind, to remember every single, like let's say all of you, I don't know how many are in the room right now, but let's say we're 80. If all of you like were in contacts with me and you were all leads, it's impossible that in my mind I would remember every single one of you, the conversation we had, where are you in the, like, so a CRM is very good, where it's like, in my CRM right now, I have 3,000 leads. So if ever, like that is worth a lot of money, because I could sell it to a competitor and they would probably pay like a couple of tens of thousands, if it's not 100,000, to get it. Why? Because there's a lot of potential business deal in this. But then it's like, if I'm lacking like deals or calls this month, I could literally just take my CRM and start calling some leads, which I do. We call it reactivation of leads. So what I do is we target mortgage broker. The biggest thing is multi-prêt. So what I'm going to do is in my CRM, I'm going to sort all the emails that ends in multiprès, and then I have all my mortgage broker that I've opted in the last year and a half, and I'm going to start calling them and try to book some more calls from that. So a CRM is very, very, it's very useful, and everyone that starts to like run ads and have leads should get one, because it's going to be pretty hard to like remember everything that's happening, and you're going to lose a lot of money on follow-ups. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They change the laws, and sometimes we get our emails in spam box.
Yeah.
I know with system like the funnels, they have some prospects you can put the hex, and they're gonna accept to have the communication from you.
Yeah.
But when they go through that process, if you want just to send information, how can you get inside their email without being blocked by this unfair IP?
Yeah, I know with GHL, like they're very like you gotta do an A2P verification now for any, if you want to purchase a number on GHL, like you could actually have a phone number where you could call people. It's like $1 a month. Same thing for the email, like they're very like strict right now because there've been so many scams. So like you just gotta do a A2P verification, which is like you pay $25 and then they ask for like your driver's license, what's your business number and everything. With GHL, it's pretty good. Like you usually don't get into the spams. But then I'm not an email expert either to like know. I think it's very depending on like each individuals and like how their email setup is. Like Gmail has different rules than Outlook and iCloud. But with GHL, usually when you do the A2P process, you don't get into the spams, and you're gonna see it actually. It's gonna say delivered, skipped, spam. So you're gonna see the percentage of your list that went in spam and the one that was skipped versus the one that were delivered and open. So you should always like look at your open rate, and like I don't know the industry average or like what a good open rate should be, but just focus on this, and if your open rate is within the industry standard, then you're good. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, Max. Yeah. Yeah.
Like objections, like they say you have to speak to your spouse, she's not present, I cannot just like go around like you need to speak to your spouse.
Yeah.
So like how would you, like what would you tell me that I need to focus on like for follow-up? Because like a lot of them, of those people will be like, I need to follow them, and it's not because like it's pretty good way for follow-up, but like what would you tell me like some advice to focus on?
But first of all, I want to make sure, is it a smoke screen or is it like the actual thing that they need to do? That's the first thing. All you can do that is usually like just change your framework, and all you ask the question like 2 or 3 times and you're going to get your real answer. Then the second thing would be like, so a lot of the times why people are not able to close in follow-ups is that they're awkward with it. Like you sound like a typical, hey man, I'm just checking in, how are you doing? But it's like everyone knows that you're not actually caring for how he does. So what I do is when you finish the call and they say like not right now and it takes so much, okay, nice. I don't want to be annoying in my follow-ups. When would I be able to put in my calendar that you want me to follow up with you? Okay, you could call me back tomorrow. So when you call her back tomorrow, hey, what's up? You told me to call you back tomorrow. Or tomorrow? How are you doing? So you have a reason for following up. They're waiting for your follow-up. And that's why like a lot of the times like you get ghosted and you try to do follow-ups and nothing happens because you don't have the permission to follow up with them. So what I would do is like if anyone says like not right now or adding to whatever, I said, okay, nice. Why and when? So why are you saying no? So I want to get the actual like reason behind it. When are you going to be able to take a decision? I don't know. I'll come back to you. Okay. I don't want to be annoying, Gabriel, but usually when people say that, they're not actually interested. So if it's the case, like just tell me right away. Like you want me to close the file, I don't mind. I'll do it, and then I'll wish you a very nice day. But if you actually want me to like stay in contact with you, I just need a date and a time that would make sense for you. Okay, you know what? Actually, Thursday would be great. Good. Are you more AM, PM person? PM? Awesome. I'll put in my calendar to call you at 3. Does that make sense with you? Yeah. So at least like they're waiting for your call. And that's why usually people are not able to close in follow-ups, is because the client is going to say follow up with me, which is a polite way to say I don't want what you sell, and then you're going to call them and then they won't answer the phone because they didn't ask for the follow-up. So never follow up with them unless like you've set a clear like rules with them, or like that I'm going to follow up with you at that time because you told me to follow up or you asked me to do it.
So pretty much right out the door, I just said everything clear and then
Yeah, once you're sure that what she's saying is right and she actually needs, no worries. When are you going to be able to speak to him? Probably tonight. So if I call you tomorrow, would that make sense? Yes, you could call me tomorrow. That would make sense. Good. And then you put it in your thing. you could close actually a lot of deals in follow-up if you do it the proper way. Because it's like people have a hard time with like knowing what's a real objection and like what's just a smoke screen. Where it's like there's some real objections where like people actually need to speak with their significant other or whatever. They just sign with a window cleaning company or whatever it is. But like if you actually like have a proper system with a proper CRM and like you write your notes in your GHL under like each leads, you could make a lot of money in follow-ups. You just got to do it the right way. And usually it's very easy to sell to them because it's like if they told you like I'm not ready now, I'm ready in 3 months, and it's the actual reason, like it's true what they're saying. If you actually call them in 3 months, usually it's super easy to close them because like they're already ready to buy. And if you don't follow up with them, usually what's gonna happen is they're ready to buy now. They won't think of you, but they'll see an ad of someone else, and then they opt in, and then we go back to like the 0 to 9 days. He's gonna close in 0 to 9 days because now he's ready to buy, but he won't buy from you because you didn't do your follow up properly. That I see a lot of the times that happen. So then go back to like, for my industry, like the client service is horrible. The churn rate is usually like 1 to 2 months that people are gonna stay with an agency. So even if someone tells me like I sign with another agency, good. In 1 month I'm gonna follow up with you and you're gonna tell me you're not happy and you're gonna come up with me. So it's like I'm not gonna close you now. I'm gonna close you in a month. But if you don't follow up, they'll just pick another agency. So you could make a lot of money in follow-ups. You just gotta do it the right way. Make sense? Anyone else? We're good? Awesome. So I have a little bit of time left. So 2 things I want to talk about. So we just touched the subject of follow-up, which was one of the 2. So the second thing once again, like I said, client acquisition and sales are the 2 most important things in your business. If you're able to do this, you won't ever lack money ever again in your life. And then the thing that's nice with it is that you're going to realize that all the problems not all the problems, but a lot of the problems you have and a lot of the things you don't like to do, you're actually going to be able to hire people that are better than you to do it. So like the people on my team that edits video now are way better than me. The people that shoot the content are better than me. The people that speak with the client are better than me. And personally, I don't like to speak with clients. Like I don't like to like, I find it annoying to like get texts and phone calls, and I don't like to do it. Like for an example, like I'm taking the plane tomorrow, and it's like I blocked my schedule. I don't have any sales calls, so it's like for the next 4 days, I'm gonna be like off completely. I don't like to like I always have to connect with clients, but it's like that's what I don't like to do. See, my partner is the complete opposite. He loves to like deliver the service and be in contact with clients, and he hates selling. So that's why we're a good fit and we're good partners. So that's the thing. So you, like I said, once again, don't focus on logo, don't focus on website, don't focus on anything else. If right now you're not in the spot in your business that you would like to be, you don't make the amount of money you would like to make, just focus on these 2 things, client acquisition and sales. And if you do this, you're going to be able to do it right. Then the second thing is like, okay, now I have money. I could hire some people. I don't know how to hire. I don't know what I would need to hire. So if someone wants to like give me their business example, so I'm going to be like more specific with like, what's the next hire you should do depending on the situation you're in? Does anyone want to be yeah, go ahead. Pressure washing, good. So right now you have, I guess you do, unless you run ads and you have leads, you have probably door-to-door to make your sales. You have the people that, I don't know the term, I'll just say that they deliver the service. So the thing is like you're gonna be capped at some point where it's like when you're selling, you're not doing some jobs, and when you're doing some jobs, you're not selling. So ideally, you want to have someone that sells full time, so you just generate as much money as possible. And then the second thing is you probably want to have more people that deliver the service. So what I would tell you is, and a lot of the times, people the first thing that they want to delegate is sales, because sales is uncomfortable and they don't want to do it, and like it's one of the things that like, is going to be very hard for you to delegate. Because it's like no one is ever going to care for your business as much as you do, and usually you're the expert, so it's much easier for you to sell. And when you sell, what's nice is that you're in control of like the money that's coming in your account. So if like right now, like whatever, you have a hard time like making the payroll, then good. Like just pick up the phone, start dialing, make some sales, like close some client, go do some follow-ups. And a lot of the times, what I see people do wrong is that they're going to close a lot of clients. Then what's going to happen is they have a lot of clients to fulfill and deliver on. So what they're going to do is I'm going to do like all the jobs that I have. And then at the end, you stop doing what brought you to that place. So you stop doing the cold call, you stop doing the door-to-door. So then you're done all your jobs, you're here, you don't have any deal on the pipeline, and you know what I mean? And then it's going to take you 7 to 10 days to get some more jobs. So the thing I would very like highly suggest is that even if you're full right now, like don't stop your ads, just diminish the budget so you still get like awareness and people and leads, and like don't stop doing your follow-ups. Don't like, because you want to have some deals in the pipeline, so whenever you need money, like you can have it right away. Because some people are going to close in 1 month, some people are going to close in 3 months, in 6 months. So the biggest problem you're probably going to face is at one point you won't be able to deliver the service anymore. So I would hire someone to be able to deliver the service. Why? Because would you say that $25 an hour is a good salary for someone? Yeah? Okay. So let's say you pay someone $25 an hour, and they can do, like, how much you sell a job for on average? 700, and how much time, if you're alone? 4 hours. Okay, so you sell it for 700, and it takes 4 hours. So what you do is it's gonna cost you probably $100 in delivery, and you still have $600 left. Obviously, I know you have machines and product, but I'm just calculating super fast. So every time you make a sale, you make 600. Well, you only have to pay him like 100 out of the 700. So like if I have to ask you the question, which one do you feel like you should delegate first? Yeah, the jobs. So, and that's always usually, like, the sales should usually be the last thing you delegate. If I take my industry for an example, the first thing as an agency you're going to delegate is the editing. Then it's probably going to be like the posting. Then depending on if you like to shoot clients or not, if you do, maybe not as fast. If you don't, maybe as fast. Shooting, and then usually the last thing you're going to delegate is like sales. Like me personally, like what I hate, like literally the thing that I hate the most in my business is like dealing with like taxes and like spreadsheets and like just accounting in general. So I pay someone, I think it's cost me like $2,800 a month, so it's pretty expensive. But it's like don't cheap out on like making your taxes. Like obviously if you collect like that TPS TVQ, like don't do it stupid. Like this is money that doesn't belong to you. Like just give it back 100% to government right away, because this is something that even if you go bankrupt, they'll still go after it for you. So your l'imposition on your profit, if you put your company bankrupt, it's gonna be like wiped out. But if your TPS TVQ, if you don't reimburse them, they're gonna still go after you, and it's gonna come to you personally. So that's something. It's like, it's basically, for people that don't understand what it is when you make over $30,000 a year, you gotta charge that TPS TVQ, which is the 15% taxes on everything like you buy. So like let's say you sell something for $1,000, it's gonna be like $11.49. I think it's 75. So that so it's not actually it's like 14.995. So that $150, just to round it up, doesn't belong to you, but it's gonna be in your account. So that 150 goes right away to the government. So like try to separate like multiple accounts. So if you have a business bank account, what I like to do is you're gonna have, I have in my main bank account, so I won't get into the structure, I'm not a fiscalist, but like the holding and like the société opérante and all you could do. But in my main Inc., what I do is I created 3 like sub bank account. So I have profit, I have DAS and taxes, TPS, TVQ, and I have payroll and fournisseur. So what I do with this is that my main account, where most of my money comes from Stripe, because our clients pay by credit card, and it usually takes like 3 days to process the money. So every day I get some deposit, whether it's like whatever, 5K, 10K in my account. So it goes in this account. What I do is I'm gonna put the DAS, which is when you have a payroll and you pay employees, it's like RRQ and all this stuff you gotta pay for them. So like let's say you pay an employee like $35 an hour, it doesn't actually cost you $35 an hour, it costs you like 38 and a half. So that's the first thing. So you put your DAS and your TPS TVQ away in another account that you won't ever touch, so that when you have to pay them, you have the money. Then what I'm gonna do is like in the last year, me and my partner realized that like we started spending our money on like very stupid stuff. So it's like when you start having money in your personal account, like the last thing a business owner is gonna do is they're gonna pay themselves. So usually business owners have a lot of money in their bank account professionally and their business wise, but they're very like poor on paper personally. So what I would tell you is like pay yourself first. So once again, I'm not an accountant, so if someone could fact check me, how I pay myself 60 grand per salary. So I think like whatever after taxes that gives me, I think it's like whatever 38 grand, not grand, 38,000, 100 a month after taxes in my bank account. And then I have a different structure, like obviously, like my car, my condo, like I'm not paying them personally, so that goes there. And then whatever I need as a dividend to whatever I need to buy, I just do shareholders loan. So that's like you could take money from your company's account, do an e-transfer personally, then at the end of the year you just got to pay taxes on this, and this is the dividend. So you're actually going to pay less taxes here than here. But the thing is, like if you want to like whatever, buy a house, you want to have like credit line, whatever, you need the thing that's there. So, and if you have kids, like I said, I'm not an accountant, so check with him. So that's personally how I like to pay myself. And what we realize is that because the business, like there's a lot of money that like flows like back and forth, we started spending like here and there on some stuff that we don't really need it. So it's like two grand a month there, 500 there, a grand a month there, and it's like you spend, and then you realize, oh wow, there's like at the end of the month there's like 15 to like 20,000 that was spent on stuff that it's like it's nice, but it's not really worth anything. Like we don't actually need it. And if you clean this up, you realize that wow, I have $20,000 in profit, which divided by 2, we have 10 grand each, and that we could put in our holding, or like we could take personally more as a profit. So usually, like as business owners, we think like, oh, I need to reinvest. But what end up happening is that not every investment is a good investment. So what we started to do is, as soon as like let's say there's 10 grand that comes up, we take about like 10% of the amount and we put it straight in the profit account. And then what we do is at the end of every month, we just split it 50-50, and both me and my partner just send some money to our holding account. So let's say at the end of the month, we have 10K in the profit account. He takes 5Ks, transfer it to his holding. I take 5K, transfer it to my holding. So this is basically money that like you don't need personally to live with, and that you could do some investment with, either in the stock market, either buy another business. So that's another structure. So like if you have a business right now, like usually like you just, I'm not going to pay myself, I'm going to reinvest. But it's like, start paying yourself, because then you're going to feel like very discouraged at some point, because it's like, and that's what happened to me. For the first 3 years, I was paying myself like 30 grand a year. Like it was like barely whatever I needed. So my structure was like I was spending money on my credit card during the month. When my credit card bill came, I was like, okay, how much do I need to transfer myself? Transfer that amount, and I was keeping both of my bank accounts at the minimum. I think it was like 100 each, so I wouldn't have to pay fee. So that's what I did for the first like 2 years and a half. But then I realized that it's like it's you don't feel motivated, because it's like everyone around you in your own business just makes way more money than you do. So like I started paying myself actually a proper salary, and then I looked recently to like go from 60 to 80K, and it was stupid. I think the extra 20, I was keeping like 8K, and then 12K was going in taxes and other stuff. So I was like, it's not worth for me to like get myself. So I think it's like, if I'm not mistaken, with les brackets d'impôt, 65 is like after you get into another bracket, and it's not even worth it. So personally, that's what I like to do. So even if like I pull like let's say 100K a year as a salary, but I put 60 as a salary and then 40 as a dividend. So anyways, I kind of deviated from the original question, but I know, did it answer your question right? Nice. All right, so I'll get Pastor Neb to come up.
Give it up for Victor. A good book that we have, actually, that I gave out last year, if you guys remember, those of you that were here, is Faith in the Marketplace by Bill Winston. Faith in the Market. Great, especially if you have given your business over to the Lord and believing the Lord for a great harvest. Faith in the Marketplace is awesome. Bill Winston, yeah. I actually have like 12 copies left. And then I have Evangelist Jonathan's book, 31 Questions I would ask, something like that. Anyways, I have it. I can bring it out next week and sell it to you guys. Very cheap, though. I'm going to bid it off. I'm going to start to do an auction. It's going to start off at $100 a book, all right? So demand and supply. Supply is low, big demand. So who enjoyed Viktor's Cookie St-Jacques? Phenomenal. So I was hoping to get more questions out of him or get more answers, but I think he had to run to the little boys' room, which is fine. But so if you guys have any questions, guys, like personal questions that are like, hey, my business, like I hit a wall and my business, like if there's something going on, speak to Victor. He has a crazy analytical mind, if you haven't noticed yet, and it's just like he can go on and on and on and on, and 2 hours later on and on about different things and different topics, and he'll like, you can speak to him and he'll analyze it and he'll be able to help you with that. Because some people, it's just like they need an outside view of it, right? And then when they get the outside view, it's like boom. Okay, well, now it's easy. I just add this thing to my business, and all of a sudden it takes off. I want to ask a question. Who here is you don't have a business yet, but you really like, you feel on your heart that the Lord is telling you you need to start a business, but you don't have a business there? They're awesome. A few of you, awesome. Okay, awesome. So that's you know what? When we thought about this, I was like, the one thing that I want to come out of this is people to start their business. So not like, I know there's some people that have their business and need help, and we're here to help those people 100%. But I'd like people to start their business, which is a big thing. And a lot of people make it over spiritual, and they say, Lord, show me exactly what business I need to do to be able to. You know, there's some people that change businesses like it's shoes. Like every 2 years, they sell a business, buy a business, sell a business. What I would say to you is just start. Figure something out that you're good at, that you like, and then do it. And then it can make money, right? Like, for example, my friend Max, he washes windows, right? I don't think he ever grew up and said, I have a passion for washing windows. I don't even think the Lord said, you know what, I need you to wash windows. He saw an opportunity and he said, let me capitalize on this opportunity. And you know, if he would have just saw the opportunity and said, this would be such a good opportunity to make money, and then did nothing, he would not be where he is now. But he said, you know what, let me take the first step, let me figure it out. And that's what this was actually for, is because we wanted to bring people together, people at all different levels of their business, right? So now somebody that hasn't started yet can go to somebody that has a business and say, you know what, can you help me? I don't know where to start. And they'll be able to help you and know where to start. And believe me, if you want to start another window washing company, you can, because there's millions of windows in Montreal, right? So make sure you go, yeah, Max, what's up? Yeah. Get it done. That's what, and last week, that's what Lucas Jensen was saying, is money follows speed. If you see something and you're like, hey, I see this issue that I can resolve, let me fix it, that's where the money is going to go as well, so fix it. You know, Max, he used to be a weirdo, super odd. He used to be the kind of guy, no, I don't feel like I need to work, the Lord's going to supply everything, right? And I had to sit him down multiple times and be like, no, you have to work. Right, and then eventually he got it, and he said, you know what, okay, I'm going to do something. And he did something, and the Lord blessed it, right? Why? Because the Lord blesses the work of our hands, not the seat of our pants, right? He doesn't bless us sitting behind. And even people that give, they say, I'm going to give, and the Lord's going to provide everything. Yeah, but the Lord blesses you when you work. He doesn't bless you when you sit, right? So make sure, it's actually the complete opposite. The Bible says that if you are slothful, poverty is at your door. If you're lazy, you're going to be poor. That's what it is at the end of the day, right? And it's not like, I know it's a spiritual principle biblically, but it's not that spiritual. Like, just think about it. If you are lazy, you will not make money. If you put your hands to the plow and work, and especially as a believer, where we go above and beyond, where we don't go around like gypping people, right, charging them way over, where we do the things according to the Lord, how much more will we prosper? Amen? So just to tell you guys, make sure that in here, even if you have a business and you're like, okay, these people, they're all beneath me, and then you get up and you run out. No, stay around a little bit, talk to a few people, see how you can help each other. There's a great businessman I spoke to, and I'm going on, and he just went on, but it's going to be 2 minutes. Okay, I need to calm myself, and then we're going to. So I spoke to a great businessman, and he said, you know what you guys have here at Good News Chapel that you guys don't realize you have at Good News Chapel? Is you have the power of community. He said, and then he said he was trained with Jewish men, like his mentor was a Jewish man, and he said all of them, they have a lot of money because they got together and they pooled their resources together and said, you know what, let's do this. Yeah, amen. And it wasn't, And yes, it was money, but it was also knowledge and ideas and strength. For some reason, we get to the place, okay, I'm going to do my own business and I'm going to show all them that I'm good at business. What for? We're all on the same team and we're all going the same direction and forwarding in the kingdom of God, right? So let's make sure that we take, some of you are wiser, some of you are more white hairs than others. Make sure that you help the ones with the black full head of hair like myself, all right? And don't be jealous, right? So make sure that you guys look around and say, okay, you know what? These people are people that are behind the kingdom of God. Let's see how we can help each other and let's see how we can grow this thing. Amen? Very calm. You know, tonight is going to be a great night because my wife took the kids and she went to her parents' house, not because we're fighting, but because she has an appointment all the way on the other side of the world, so I'm going to be able to sleep in tomorrow. And it's been the first time in 4 years, so I'm very excited about that. But quickly, before I let you guys go, I want to ask a really important question. With every head bowed and every eye closed, I want to ask this. If you're to lay your head on the pillow tonight and breathe out your last breath, do you know for sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, if you're going to heaven? Because there's a heaven to gain and there's a hell to shun, and God does not want you to go to a devil's hell, but he wants you to spend eternity with him in heaven. You say, well, I really want to go to heaven, but I don't know. Well, the Bible says that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, and the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. The Bible also says, whosoever shall call on the name of Jesus shall be saved. You know, whosoever means me, and whosoever means you. If you're in this place and you're not sure if you're going to heaven, you can be sure 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt if you call on the name of Jesus. Now, I'm going to make this quick. I want to pray with you and I want to pray for you. I want to help you make that decision and guide you to the feet of Jesus. If you're in this place and you say, you know what, I want to make my life right with God and be 100% sure that if I was to lay my head on the pillow tonight and breathe out my last breath, I want to be 100% sure that I'm going to end up in eternity. With every head bowed and every eye closed, I just want you to raise your hand and say, you know what, Pastor, I need prayer. I need to make my life right with God tonight. So if you're in this place and you want to make your life right with God, I just want you to lift your hand up with every eye is closed. Don't worry about the people around you. Just lift your hand up and say, you know what, Pastor, I'm going to need prayer tonight. Okay, awesome. Nobody in the room. Look at me, everybody. That was a sales tactic, by the way. I waited 20 seconds, right? The 20-second wait, and then somebody puts their hand up. No. Why don't you stand to your feet? I'm going to pray you guys out. Father, I thank you for every person in this place. I thank you for your Holy Spirit that guides us, leads us, fills us, and accomplishes everything that we put our hands to. Lord, I thank you that there's a prosperity, a mantle of prosperity that comes down upon your people, Lord. I thank you that as your word says, that everything we shall put our hands to shall prosper. Lord, I thank you everywhere we put our feet, I thank you, you've already given unto us. Lord, I thank you that the marketplace, the businesses, everything that we are going to touch, Lord, I thank you that you have already given unto us and you've already made a way and paved a way for us. Lord, I thank you that every person in this place has the ability to create wealth. I thank you that we're going to step into that ability. I thank you that 2026, going into 2027, and so on will be a great and mighty faith walk in the business place, in the marketplace, and we're going to see the hand of God's provision on our life, and we're going to be able to forward the kingdom of God in Canada. Lord, we love you. We give you praise and honor. In Jesus' name, everybody says, Amen. God bless you guys.